afternoon, boys and girls. It's Miss Miranda with At Home Learning. And today I have little Princess. This is Princess. She's old, but she wanted to read a story with us today. And today's story is called Down Comes the Rain. And it's by Franklin M. Branley and illustrated by James Graham Hale. Rain. Hear those geese flying? Down comes the rain. Did you know that rain is recycled? Rain comes from clouds. It comes from big clouds and little clouds. It comes from black clouds, white clouds, and gray clouds. All clouds, big ones and little ones, gray ones and white ones, are made of billions of tiny drops of water. The drops are called droplets because they are so small. If this is the size of a drop of water, a droplet would be just a tiny speck, even smaller than this one. Water droplets come from water vapor. Water vapor is a gas. There's always water vapor in the air, but you can't see it. You can't smell it, and you can't feel it. Water vapor is made when water evaporates. That means the water changes from a liquid to a gas. In the morning, put a teaspoon of water in a saucer. By that night, it may have evaporated into the air. When wet clothes hang on the clothesline, the water in them evaporates. The heat from the sun changes the water drops and droplets into water vapor. Just like the heat from the stove changes water in the kettle to water vapor. If you heat it long enough, all the water boils away and the water vapor goes into the air. Most of the water vapor in the air comes from lakes, rivers, and oceans. It comes from the leaves of plants and from the wet ground. Heat from the sun causes the water to evaporate. The water changes from a liquid to a gas, and the water vapor goes into the air. When you breathe out, you put water vapor into the air. Usually, you cannot see the water vapor, but it is there. Sometimes, if it's cold, you can see your breath. That's because the water vapor condenses. It changes from a gas to a little cloud. When cows, horses, and dogs and cats breathe out, they put water vapor into the air too. On a cold day, the water vapor changes to droplets and makes little clouds that you can see. You can make water vapor change to water. Put a lot of ice into a glass of water. As the glass gets colder, the outside of the glass gets wet. Sometimes the glass stays dry. That means there is not much water vapor in the air. Water vapor in the air is condensing on the glass. There may be so much condensation that the glass drips. The air holds the water vapor. Breezes carry it from one place to another. Much of the water vapor moves up and away from the earth. See the little lines here showing you which way it's going, traveling? Air above the earth is always cold. The higher you go, the colder it gets. When air gets cold enough, the water vapor in it condenses. The vapor changes to water droplets. The water droplets make clouds. There is not any clouds in the sky right now where Miss Miranda is. When clouds are thin and wavy, they are holding only a little bit of water. When clouds are thick and dark, they are holding much more water. A single droplet is so small you cannot see it, but you can see a cloud. That's because there are millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of water droplets in a cloud. Inside the cloud, droplets join together to make drops. When clouds no longer hold them, the drops fall down to the earth. The sky is full of them. They fall through the air and splatter on the ground. They are called raindrops. Sometimes there are only a few small raindrops that fall slowly, and it's called drizzling. Sometimes there are lots of big drops that fall very fast. Now it is pouring. Sometimes the drops in clouds freeze. These raindrops become ice drops. This can happen even on a hot summer day. That's because the clouds and water droplets are high above the earth. Many clouds are so high that it is freezing cold. The higher the clouds, the colder it is. Some clouds may be higher than airplanes ever go. In these high, cold clouds, water vapor changes to droplets, and the droplets change to drops. The drops freeze into ice. As they are carried upward, more water collects on the tiny bits of ice. When that water freezes, the drops of ice have another layer on them. The drops are now heavier, so once more they fall toward the earth, but the air moving away from the earth may carry the ice drops upward again. Higher and higher they go, and another layer of ice freezes on them. Here's the earth. The air flows up. Here's the droplets freezing. The ice drops get heavier and heavier, and they go so heavy that the air can no longer carry them up. So the ice drops fall to the earth. It's raining ice. The ice drops are called hailstorms. They may be the size of your fingernail, or they may be as big as golf balls, or even bigger. In 1970, hailstones as big as softballs fell on Kansas. Hailstones are not stones, but they are pieces of ice. So when it hails, go outside if you're not, go inside so you're not hit on the head. Water in the clouds makes hail. Water in the clouds make rain. When it stops raining or hailing, the sun comes out. Once more, water evaporates. It evaporates from rivers and lakes and oceans. Back up into the clouds it goes. It evaporates from the leaves of plants and from the wet ground. Back up it goes. It evaporates from cows and horses and from cats and dogs. Back up it goes. And from you to me. The water changes to water vapor. It's carried up and away from the earth where the air is cool or even freezing. When the water vapor cools, it condenses, and the water vapor changes to water droplets, and all the drops make clouds. And when water drops join together to make water drops, the drops fall to the earth from the clouds. And once more, it's raining. So, water from the earth evaporates and goes up to the clouds. When the clouds get too heavy, down the water goes. Down the water goes. Is the water really ever gone? No. It goes from the ground up to the clouds and back down again. So it's kind of like recycling the water. So, what I need you to do now is think back of the characters that were in the story. What happened with the rain? What different types of raindrops there were? What happens to the droplets when they go really high in the sky? Do they get hot or do they get cold? Try doing one of the ice cube things. Try putting a drop of water on a plate and see what happens throughout the day. Take the time and illustrate something from the story that you liked and write something at the bottom. Thanks for reading with me today. See you next time.